Hi everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. And right after finishing the video for the FRM and the non-starting problem, we're just gonna move into the next issue and hopefully the last. Not before two things. One, I do confirm that coding the module, if you're left with any doubts, coding the module definitely sorted my problem with the lights, as I'm going to show you. So lights on, so there, so lights on, and now we're going to see when I pull it back I have high beams. So it was possible to code the module to this car. Also very quick, I will show you that I have no faults now on my FRM module, footwell module. Very quick. There we go, no faults. Now the only thing left to do now is change or update the VIN number. Update the VIN number on it. For that I will need to update the subscription because I need to flash the module. During flashing is when the VIN number is updated. I can't really do it through coding, unfortunately. So that said, let's gonna move into the next problem. So the next problem, guys, let me show you what the next problem is. I don't have at the moment a clip with the car starting from cold, but let me tell you that it is an absolutely nightmare. It takes probably, I don't know, 5-6 attempts for the engine to actually fire up. I have all these codes in there. So right now, guys, it's about February, end of February. At the moment is plus 2.5 degrees. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. In the morning, guys, is absolutely freezing cold. Is like on the negatives, low negatives, like 1 or 2 degrees negative, below zero. But it is cold, and this car without the glow plugs, it definitely struggles to start. So I'm gonna see if maybe not today, but tomorrow, or maybe not tomorrow because I'm working, but the next day I work on the car, maybe I will record the starting of this car when it's cold, and I will put it right here. Okay, so you need to watch the entire video. So what I'm gonna talk about here now, it makes sense. I had no footage, silly me. I could have done it while it was -2, -3 degrees. Today is not as bad. It's actually raining, or sort of rainy weather. It's not rainy at the moment, but it's been rainy in the morning. And the temperatures are probably like 9-10 degrees. I'm gonna guess. I think we might can check in there later, but it's not as cold as before. When a few days ago when I worked on the car, literally the car would take like ages to start. I would have to crank the car 4 or 5 times before it actually fires up. Today with these temperatures might be different, but still I think it's going to be able to, for you to see that it struggles to start. Now I plugged everything back in, guys, so again you'll have to watch the entire video so you understand that I'm recording these now on a completely different day. Anyway, so I plugged everything back in, including glow plugs, etc, even though, well, watch the video and you will know what's going on. So we're gonna attempt to start the car. I want to show you how bad it starts. So I'm gonna do this, press clutch, key in. Okay, let's go. First attempt. And he actually started first time. But, oh dear me. Right, if you watch the video, you're gonna see that the actually first time I attempt to start the car, it didn't start. But you've seen it took a little bit to start. With extremely cold weather, like I said, guys, when I was working on this car for the non-start, for the no ignition problem, and for the other problem with the windows, etc. Guys, to start this car from cold would take me a good minute. It was here cranking for like 10-15 seconds at a time, and I would have to try it 4 or 5 times until the engine actually fires up. Today it fired up quite well, which is obviously not ideal for the video, but you have seen, guys, you shouldn't do this anyway. You should start bang straight away, and it didn't, even cold, and it didn't. So yeah, so now we are going to carry on and diagnose this problem. For you guys that are watching the video, for me, it's just get the parts we need. Okay, so hopefully you have seen it. So right now the car starts absolutely fine, so I'm going to turn it off. I'm just recording this today because one, I want to diagnose what the problem is, so if I need any parts, which most likely I will, I can order those parts while I'm at work for the next couple of days. But also because I want to put the car all back together, is all the plastics to put back in, all this stuff, all this. There's bolts missing, was bolts missing already when I got the car. But just to show you that in cold, the car starts absolutely perfect, no problems whatsoever. So we've seen already what my codes are. So I have codes for all my glow plugs. And I think the first thing we're going to do, just to make sure, well, let's check first the glow plugs. I believe usually when the I'm just mumbling now. Right, when these glow plugs fail, if they fail shorted, they will burn the module. Okay, so the fuses for the glow plugs, they are internal on these modules. If this is the same as BMW, I didn't go there yet. I do believe it's going to be very similar. So it's going to have a glow plug module. The fuses are internal on the module, as far as I'm aware, and I don't think they are resettable. And usually when they fail shorted, they will burn the module. If they fail open circuit, that's a different story. But definitely the module is reporting all 4 glow plugs at fault. So we're going to test the glow plugs. If the glow plugs are good, or if we have, let's say for example, one glow plug that is good, that to me means straight away that is the module at fault. We don't have lack of communications. We don't have nothing here about no communications with the module. It's just the glow plug activation. So I'm gonna guess that communications are good, but we might have to test that as well. So stay tuned. Let's gonna start some testing. Okay, and the first thing is obviously someone has been here. Nothing clipped, bolts not done properly. Oh dear me, this is not even routed properly. This comes through there. All right, anyway, this is my preheating module. I got hold of diagrams. Don't panic if you don't have diagrams. This was quite easily figured out, or figurable. It's not rocket science, but I got the diagrams just in case, so I can be a little bit more informative. So this module has 2 plugs. There is a plug with 3 pins, which this is this one here at the top, where you have a pin 1 is a 12 volts that comes from fuse number 2, maxi fuse number 2. From there we'll check in a second. Number 2 I believe is going to be a ground that comes straight from the engine ECU, and number 3 is my LIN bus. Then we have number 7, which is on the other plug, is a 7-pin plug. Number 7, it comes straight from my alternator, which it does come. And then we have 4, 1, 6 and 5. This is the pin number on the plug that goes to my cylinder 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the first things I'm going to do is check if I have a LIN bus. Actually I'm going to check powers and grounds first, and then check LIN bus maybe, or just check from here to the ECU, make sure we have continuity on these wires. Oh, let me take these off. Okay, so 3 pins. So the purple is my LIN bus, this one I believe is my ground, and this is my 12 volts. So I should have 12 volts here, but what we're going to do, we're going to check everything from here to where they go, so that way we can't really get it wrong. Okay, ignition is on, and the first thing we're going to do is check my power, which is my pin 1. I could easily go and check the fuses, but nothing that a test light can't show you. And as you can see, I have 12 volts. Okay, so now we're going to check my ground, which I believe is my pin 2 that comes straight from the ECU. No questions. Now let's gonna scope the LIN bus. Okay, now we are scoping the LIN bus. I know it's not very professional. This red wire is actually connected to ground, so the chassis comes here into the ground of the probe. then the probe is just there on my purple wire, and as you can see, the engine ECU is trying. He's hard trying to communicate with the module. So I think no problems there. Right, as I will might show you, this is a completely different day. It's not a very good weather today. I had to stop on that last day I was working on this, which was about 3 days ago. I've been working days in the meantime, but I had my neighbor here just asking me if I could help him to start his car. So I went. By the time I finished, help him out, got the car running. By the time I finished, it was already too late, so I just packed up my stuff. Anyway, I watched the video this morning, the last video I recorded on this. So the last thing I've showed you was when we scanned the LIN bus, which we have established that everything is good on this side. So we have power, grounds and communication line. So we're going to move into the next plug, which is this one on the side, which also plugs into the module. This is a 7-pin plug. In this case, only 5 pins are populated because this is a 4-cylinder. The plug and the modules are very similar for the 6-cylinder ones. So on this plug we have a main power feed, which is the power that the module is going to use to actually actuate the glow plugs. Obviously the module, this power and grounds here is purely, or this power here, this 12 volts on this plug is purely to power up the module itself. To activate the glow plugs, obviously this wire would never be able to do it. So there's a main power feed. Let me show you. There's a main power feed that in this case connects to the top of the alternator, which then in turn goes straight to the battery, obviously. So is this power feed quite short to run, so you can literally just visually inspect and establish if it's good or not. But we're gonna obviously check it just for the video purpose. So I have my test light connected to ground. If I put in there, as you can see, we have 12 volts. So that's good. So the next step, and the other pins left, so the power feed is this pin here right at the bottom. This is my cylinders, obviously 2 cylinders missing, as is a 4-cylinder. So I'm going to ignore completely the cylinder order, doesn't really matter. We're just going to test them all. If I need to know if we have any good ones, I might replace them all anyway. So the order that we're going to test them is not really important. If I have 2 bad and 2 good or whatever, I will replace them all anyway. So we're going to test the glow plugs itself now. So the way we're going to do it, again, I'm going to connect my multimeter to ground. Let me take this light off, put that into ground. Okay, so I'm on resistance. Can you see the screen? Like that you can. So let's just double check that I have a good connection there. So 0.3 ohms if I go to chassis again. So let's test, I don't know which one is, but let's test the first one. So the typical value I'm going to be looking at is around 1 ohm, not much more than that. And the first one I have 3.2 mega ohms. So that's mega ohms right now, 3.8 mega ohms. So that glow plug is bad. The next glow plug, 12.9 ohms. That's a bad glow plug. 107 ohms, or 107.7 ohms. That's another bad glow plug. And the last one, 50.7 ohms, 50.7. So basically, guys, all the glow plugs are bad. They're all going to be replaced. The next test we're going to do, which for that, ideally, well, I guess I could backprove this, but I might not going to do it. The next test is going to be, because I'm going to have to remove all these anyway, so the next test is going to be to establish if I'm going to need glow plugs and the controller, or if I need just the glow plugs. The glow plugs itself we're going to need, so that's established, but I don't know if the controller is good. So the way I'm going to test the controller, there's probably a couple of ways you could test it. The way I'm going to test it is, well, let me show you. Okay, so hopefully it makes sense what we did. I don't need to test them all. All I need to see is that one doesn't power up, and that's a glow plug controller module replacement. So what we've done here so far, I took the first one, is the most accessible one. I took the plug off from the glow plug, the connector, and we put it through the test light. The test light is connected to ground. So now I haven't started this engine today, nor I have turned the ignition on. So when I turn the ignition on, for sure the car will try to activate the glow plugs, hopefully, and we'll see if this test light lights up. Then is a good sign that the glow plug controller module is good. If that doesn't light up, then we know there is a bad glow plug module controller. The car should also show me on the screen that is activating the glow plugs. If it doesn't show that, and I have any doubts that maybe the temperature is now requesting for the glow plugs, which I believe it will be. I'm not sure what temperature it is right now, but it's probably on the lows, on the single digits. So if I have any doubts, I might try to activate these glow plugs. But for now, let's just turn the ignition on and look at this. See if we have any light come up. Okay, let's gonna turn this ignition on and see if my light glows. Key on. So let's see if it comes up on the screen as well. I want to know. Okay, and as you have seen, even though it didn't show on the cluster that the glow plug was being activated, it definitely light up the test bulb. If you have seen it, it definitely light up. So at this point, guys, the ideal thing, which is what I'm going to do, is test all the other ones, because okay, so none of these glow plugs has failed as a short. If any of these glow plugs would have failed as a short, most likely would have burned the fuse inside this module, and I don't think these fuses are resettable, so that would mean a replacement straight away. But because my first glow plug actually worked, is powering my first glow plug, it's just that the glow plug is dead. We're going to move into the next ones, and we're going to test them all. I'm not going to take you through, the test is going to be exactly the same, so I'm just going to pull these out, pull the other one out, put the test light, turn the ignition on, and see if my test light lights up. I'm going to test all of them. If they all light up, that means my module is 100% good, and my problem is my glow plugs. If the test light fails to light up on any of them, then that means my glow plug module is also bad. Okay, and I'm sure, as you could have seen, every single, let me plug this off again, so every single glow plug, the controller is powering every single glow plug, so which means to me that what we need is 4 new glow plugs. And that the owner of this car quite lucky. That glow plug controller module is good, so as you've seen, there was no point to order this module. I was tempted to over the last few days to have all the parts ready for today, but I could never do that without making all the proper tests first, and we just proved that this is good. My problem is my 4 glow plugs. Before I do the glow plugs, actually I'm going to connect all these again, because I need to record how bad this car actually starts. So I'm going to plug everything back in, and then we crank the engine, and you're going to see how bad it takes this car to start. Right, and the first thing I've done next was to remove the glow plugs. So I've started the engine. I've loosed the glow plugs first, soaked them with oil, as you can see, and start the engine. That to me shows me that they break loose and there is a passage for the oil to get through. Then I've started to lose them up, so I would undo them until I feel some resistance, would force that resistance a little bit, and then put them back in again, and do this back and forwards a few times to make sure, obviously, they are getting completely loose, so you can allow the oil to get through. Continue to sort of keep that oil level in there, and you need to just carry on doing this. Don't rush. As soon as you feel resistance, force it a little bit, so to pull them out a little bit more, and then just screw them back in until they are completely loose. There is an area there where they are completely loose to allow the oil to go through. And if you do this right, you're gonna get to the point where they will come out. As you can see, I got the first one out with no really issues. I mean, I felt some resistance as I was pulling out, obviously, but it came out okay. There he is, the first one out. 3 to go. So I've carried on doing this on all of them. This was the second one that came out. I didn't show you on the first one, but I'll show you now. Just before, when you know it's going to come out, just obviously clean the area around the glow plug. So when you pull the glow plug out, that WD-40 mixed with sand, etc., doesn't go inside. And once it's cleaned, obviously you can pull it out, as you're gonna see. So I've cleaned that pit around the glow plug before I actually pull it completely out. And you feel when the glow plug is just about to come out. And there we go. That's the second one. Okay, and there is one left. And I'm a little bit nervous now, because usually these jobs, they go wrong either on the first one or on the last one. So it didn't go wrong on the first one. So, oh dear. Let's see what's gonna happen. And look at that. I got them all out without breaking them. Right. Now let's gonna move into the next step. Right, and let's see if I can finish this today. Luckily the sky cleared. It's quite, there's no clouds now, so it's still quite good with daylight. I just been on a phone conference call for 45 minutes. I applied for a job where I work on the maintenance team, engineering, but I was pretty much told I'm not gonna get it. I don't have the skills, the experience, or the papers. Unfortunately, nowadays you are as good as your CVs or your studies. Anyway, is the today's world, is the way it is. Moving forwards into this video, the next thing we're going to do is clean the threads. Okay, so I would not be putting some of the threads. Let me show you the threads. So some of the threads on the glow plugs that came out, they came out a little bit damaged, sort of. So in order for us to make sure that the next glow plugs goes in nice and easily, we are going to clean the threads and then start to fit the new glow plugs. And I'm pulling the first one out, and I just want to see and to show you that there was a little bit of damage to the thread. You can judge it by the amount of metal you're going to be able to remove, because if the threads have been flattened, then obviously this will get it. There we go. As you can see, it was a little bit of metal cleaned from them. So the next glow plug should just slide in, no problem. So I'm going to do all the other ones off camera. There's no point to be showing you the same thing again and again. So I will do them all, and then, yes, then ready to put the glow plugs back in. A good crank off the engine with all the glow plugs removed to make sure if anything fell into the cylinder, it's just expelled. And now we're gonna put a little bit of grease on each one and tighten them up. Okay, let's gonna do the first one The torque for these guys is supposed to be 13 Newton meters. I put a little bit of copper grease, so I'm gonna give it one more because of the grease, because obviously the grease will easy things up a little bit. So I'm gonna give it 14 rather than 13. If you are not confident, just leave the 13, completely up to you. So we're gonna put them all in and then literally just put everything back on. Okay, everything is back in place. Everything's connected, etc, etc. Now, yes, it starts getting dark, so we are losing a little bit of light, but I don't want to finish this video without showing how the car is going to start. Hopefully. Okay, now bear in mind, and I said this already, the weather today is not as cold, but you have seen in the morning when I tried, which you have seen at the start of the video, even with this sort of 10 degrees, how we started, it shouldn't start that slow. It should start much quicker. Another thing is also, I got the maxi seals in so we can look at the codes quickly at the end, make sure they are not active anymore. But the first thing we're going to do is obviously just crank the engine. So clutch down, key on, start. Look at that. Straight away, no delays, spot on. Now we are going to quickly look at the codes. Auto scan. No, it's no point to do an auto scan. Let's just go quick to the engine, see if my codes, I'm sure the module tried to activate these glow plugs as it did in the morning. So they should be all passive, or if not, we'll have to clear the codes. But usually they go to... Okay, so all the stuff that was disconnected, obviously. And look at my glow plugs activation. All codes absent. Boom! There we go. The LIN bus communication fault. When we scan the LIN bus. There we go, feedback. Look at that. All done, guys. So... I think with no further ado, I'm going to terminate this video here. This is literally, you can get this done yourself, guys, no issues. Just be careful when you take the glow plugs, be patient, don't rush things out. Yeah, sometimes they just don't come off. They are that stubborn, they don't come off, and sometimes they snap. I was lucky, they didn't, they come out, problem solved, car is starting absolutely perfect now. Obviously I will start it again in the morning, but I mean, I didn't start the car. It's now, what's the time now? It's now 5:30. Last time I started the car was in the morning to show you on a video. It was about 9:30 in the morning or something along those lines. So or I don't know what time it was. Anyway, I haven't started the car for a few hours, and as you've seen, the car started absolutely perfect. So I'm really happy that this car is now fault free. That's it for this video, guys. If you have these faults, this is how you resolve it. With no further ado, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope there's some information here you can find useful. Maybe you learned something. If you do still have any questions, any comments, please put them below. And like always, thanks for watching.